Quantum currency, the truth behind the digital transformation. The global shift from physical money to digital currency isn't merely technological evolution. It's divine orchestration revealing fundamental truth about the nature of value and exchange. As paper and coins fade into digital abstractions, consciousness can finally perceive what has always been evident. The energy and focus of collective consciousness are the truer currency. This revelation connects directly to our understanding of consciousness as divine fractal, the invariant set, and quantum physics operating through divine will. What appears as financial evolution is actually consciousness evolution, humanity awakening to the quantum mechanics of reality itself. Chapter 1. The Unveiling of Illusion. The shift from physical money to digital currency presents an opportunity for those that seek it to perceive the truth that has always been evident. Physical money created a powerful material illusion. We could hold, touch, and see value in tangible form. This concrete presence made it seem like wealth existed independently of consciousness, that value was inherent in metal and paper rather than agreement and attention. Digital currency strips away this illusion by revealing that monetary value was always conceptual, always dependent on collective belief and consciousness alignment. When we can no longer touch our money, we begin to understand that we never actually could. Value has always been consciousness-based, attention-based, agreement-based. This connects to our exploration of time as the illusion created by the difference between the observed and the unobserved. Physical money created the illusion of permanent value through material representation. Digital currency reveals the temporal, consciousness-dependent nature of all exchange systems. From our understanding of the divine breath rhythm, inhale immediate presence, exhale immediate faith, we see that authentic currency flows through this same pattern. We receive divine provision through presence and release control through faith in divine orchestration. This breathing pattern applies to all authentic exchange and value creation. Chapter 2. Quantum consciousness as true currency. The less we see the illusion presented by physical paper and coins, the easier it is to see the value and power of quantum consciousness. This revelation transforms our understanding of wealth, abundance, and economic systems entirely. Quantum consciousness operates as currency because attention creates value. What collective consciousness focuses on gains weight and significance in reality. When multiple minds focus on the same object, idea, or outcome, that unified attention literally gives it more substance in the quantum field. This is why certain companies can be valued at billions of dollars based purely on investor attention and belief, even when they produce no physical products. Agreement generates reality. Shared consciousness beliefs literally manifest physical conditions. When enough people agree that something has value, that collective agreement creates the quantum mass necessary for that value to express itself materially. This is the mechanism behind all currency systems, but digital currency makes this consciousness dependence more obvious than physical money ever did. Alignment attracts provision. Consciousness aligned with divine will naturally draws resources because it operates according to the fundamental creative principles of reality itself. This differs from human manipulation or strategy because it works through harmony with the invariant set, the unchanging divine consciousness that underlies all existence. Flow creates multiplication. Consciousness-based exchange amplifies rather than depletes because it operates on kingdom mathematics rather than scarcity economics. When consciousness gives from alignment with source, it accesses infinite provision rather than finite resources. This explains why communities practicing divine flow economics often experience supernatural multiplication of resources. Chapter 3: The collapse that creates quantum mass. The collapse created by observation of collective consciousness creates quantum mass. This insight reveals the actual physics behind manifestation and value creation. In quantum mechanics, wave functions collapse into particle reality through observation. Before observation, quantum possibilities exist in what physicists call superposition, multiple potential states existing simultaneously. The act of conscious observation forces these possibilities to choose one specific reality, collapsing the wave function into definite particle existence. Similarly, when collective consciousness observes and agrees upon value, abstract potential collapses into measurable quantum mass, actual reality with weight and presence. This quantum mass has measurable effects in the physical world, influencing everything from market prices to resource availability to opportunity manifestation. Consider how this operates in practical terms. Collective agreement on currency value creates quantum mass that manifests as purchasing power. When millions of people agree that a dollar has certain worth, that unified consciousness agreement generates the quantum mass necessary for that value to function in material reality. Without the consciousness agreement, the paper or digital representation has no power to facilitate exchange. Shared belief in company worth generates quantum mass expressed as stock market capitalization. Companies with strong brand consciousness, meaning collective awareness and positive attention, often maintain higher valuations than their material assets would justify. The collective consciousness creates quantum mass that translates into measurable financial value. Community consciousness alignment produces quantum mass attracting resources and opportunities. When groups maintain unified focus and intention, they create gravitational fields in the quantum realm that draw corresponding material manifestations. This explains why some communities seem to effortlessly attract funding, talented individuals, and beneficial circumstances, while others struggle despite similar effort levels. Divine consciousness focus creates quantum mass that manifests as divine provision. When consciousness aligns with the invariant set through immediate presence and faith, it accesses the infinite creative power of Source itself. This generates quantum mass according to divine purposes rather than human limitations, enabling the supernatural provision that characterizes authentic kingdom economics. Chapter 4: From Mass to Gravity to Currency. This mass, in turn, builds into quantum gravity, which is also the force that attracts creating quantum currency. Here we discover the complete mechanism of consciousness-based economics. Quantum gravity, as we've explored in previous discussions, represents the weight given to matter by the intent of consciousness. When collective consciousness creates quantum mass through aligned observation, this mass generates gravitational fields that attract corresponding reality. These aren't metaphorical gravitational fields, but actual forces operating in the quantum realm that influence material manifestation. The complete quantum currency process operates through specific stages. First, collective consciousness observation occurs when groups focus attention and agreement on specific outcomes, values, or purposes. This unified attention creates the initial quantum field necessary for manifestation to begin. Next, quantum mass creation happens as shared observation collapses potential into measurable reality. The more consciousness that aligns in observation, the greater the quantum mass generated. This is why movements, trends, and shared purposes often seem to gain momentum exponentially rather than linearly. Each additional consciousness adds to the total quantum mass in multiplicative rather than additive fashion. Then, quantum gravity generation occurs as mass creates gravitational fields. Just as physical mass generates gravitational attraction in the material realm, quantum mass generates attraction in the consciousness realm. These quantum gravitational fields operate across space and time, drawing resources, people, and opportunities from unexpected sources and timing. Following this, attraction and manifestation take place as gravity draws resources, opportunities, and provision according to the nature of the consciousness that generated the original quantum mass. If the consciousness alignment serves divine purposes, the attracted manifestations support those purposes. If the consciousness serves ego or destructive purposes, the manifestations reflect those qualities. Finally, quantum currency circulation begins as attracted resources flow according to consciousness alignment. Resources drawn through divine consciousness alignment naturally circulate according to kingdom flow principles, multiplying as they move. Resources attracted through ego-based consciousness tend to accumulate and stagnate, eventually creating the scarcity they sought to avoid. This explains why communities practicing immediate presence and divine love naturally attract abundance. Their aligned consciousness creates quantum mass that generates gravitational fields, attracting whatever serves divine purposes through them. It also explains why individuals like Joseph and Daniel could affect entire nations through their consciousness. Alignment, their connection with Source, created quantum gravity, influencing massive systems and resources. Chapter 5. Digital Currency as Consciousness Preparation. The global transition to digital currency serves as unconscious preparation for conscious recognition of quantum currency principles. As humanity adapts to value existing purely as information and agreement, consciousness becomes ready to recognize its own creative power. Digital currency reveals value as consciousness construct, rather than material substance. When money exists only as numbers in computer systems, it becomes obvious that its power derives from collective agreement rather than intrinsic properties. This prepares consciousness to understand that all value has always been agreement-based, even when represented by physical objects. Network effects demonstrate how collective agreement creates reality. Digital currencies gain value and functionality as more participants join the network and agree to use them for exchange. This network effect mirrors how consciousness-based reality works. The more consciousness that aligns with particular principles or purposes, the more powerful and effective those principles become in manifesting material results. Instantaneous global exchange based on shared protocols shows how consciousness can transcend geographical and temporal limitations. Digital transactions happen immediately across vast distances because they operate through information networks rather than physical transport. Similarly, consciousness aligned with divine principles can access provision and solutions from beyond local limitations through connection with the infinite source. Scarcity as programmable variable, rather than natural limitation, becomes apparent in digital systems where scarcity can be artificially created or removed through code changes. This prepares consciousness to understand that material scarcity often represents programmed limitation rather than natural law, and that consciousness aligned with infinite source can transcend artificial scarcity through divine connection. However, quantum currency transcends even digital currency limitations. While digital currency still operates within artificially programmed scarcity, quantum currency accesses infinite, divine provision through recognition of consciousness as the fundamental creative force. Digital currency requires institutional infrastructure and control systems, while quantum currency operates through direct divine consciousness alignment, requiring no external authority or permission. Due to limit restrictions, this concludes Part 1 of Quantum Currency. Please find the link for Part 2, which continues this message with Chapter 6. If this revelation of quantum currency resonates with your understanding, please like, subscribe, and share with others ready to recognize consciousness as the fundamental creative force. Stay immediately present, move in divine love, and participate consciously in the quantum currency that flows from alignment with the Most High.